All right, John Dawson here with part 2 of dealing with a customer who has inequity in their position. What we're going to do is, again, we've set up the deal by having the salesperson ask the customer, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, how did you want to handle your balance? To which the customer ends up making a choice, one of 3, as to what they're going to do. We're assuming now that they've either chosen to write a check for a portion, which means they're going to roll part of it in, or they've decided to go ahead and roll it in. Let's take a look at what the deal looks like since they're rolling in part of their balance. Let's look at the worksheet. Now again, on this handout that I gave you down in Austin here, I said that education is better than frustration, and their inequity is not my responsibility. Take a look at the way that you typically pencil a deal. You may give them what I call the one-hit wonder approach, which is I say, here's $4,000 down, 60 months, and here's your payment, Mr. Mrs. Customer. Typically when you pencil a deal, you show them one payment, and that payment encompasses their payoff and, of course, the new purchase. And what I want to do is I want to try to steer away from that if possible. I want to educate the customer by demonstrating to them how their rolling in the balance affects the deal. Here you see I've got 3 options. Instead of just one option here, I've got 3 options here for the customer to choose from. Keeping in mind again what I shared with you is that if you give somebody one choice, that is a take it or leave it proposition. If I gave you a second choice, that is an either or proposition. When I now give you 3 choices, it invokes the freedom of choice mentality and people feel like they actually have control. Here you see I have option 1, and again, remember, when presenting this to the customer, the computer has generated a few options for you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. Option 1 is $4,000 down, 48 months. NC represents $350, which is their new car that they're purchasing. CB is their current balance of $149. That's how much they're rolling in. That's assuming we have a $3,000 ACV and a $6,000 payoff. So that's a total of $499. Option 2 is $2,000 down, 60 months, $327 plus $122 is a $449 payment option, and then $347 and $122 is a $469. So I will structure this from the desk. I'll pencil this deal this way. It'll show 3 options: a down payment on term with, again, a new car purchase, a current balance carry, and a total payment. Showing those options, now here's the salesman's presentation. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I've got a proposal here and I want to go over it with you. The computer is showing a couple of different options on the deal, and I show them option 1 with $4,000 down on 48 months, you have a total payment of $499. Option 2 with $2,000 on 60 months, total of $449. Option 3, $1,000 down, 60 months, total of $469. Which one of these is going to work best for you? I let the customer then say, well, what is this here and this here? What does this plus this mean? Then I educate and I remind the customer, I say, well, do you remember when I asked you earlier how you wanted to handle your balance and you said you wanted to go ahead and just roll it in? Well, this here is a $327 payment on the new car that you're buying, and this here, $122, is the balance that you're rolling in. And that's how we arrive at the $449. So now I can show the customer. And if the customer wants me to give them a better payment, I can inform them, listen, I can't do anything about this right here. The only thing I can work on is this. Now I'm working on a $327 that I have flexibility on, not a $449 that I have flexibility on. How did you want to handle your balance?